After spending $125 million in guarantees in free agency and making 6 of the most important draft picks in the history of the Jets franchise, the Jets did exactly what every team usually does and fired their general manager 3 weeks after the draft. Let's talk about it. Hey Jets fans, welcome back to JetsHq. I'm Howie. Thanks for joining me again. Sad day today. Well, sad day for some, happy day for others. Just fired General Manager Mike Maccagnan today. Some say that they saw it coming, like maybe some people at this JetsHq, kind of right after the draft. You might notice some of the content we did discuss that draft might be the epilogue in Mike Maccagnan's career. Blesson Austin, the cornerback out of Rutgers. Now this was just the pick of picks, proving Mike Maccagnan will not have a job next year. I quote, "He is a low-risk, high-reward pick." That's right, he's a low-risk, high-reward pick. You know why he's low-risk and high-reward is because apparently Mike Maccagnan doesn't value his 6th or 7th round picks at all. He's had his ACL on his left knee blown out twice, and he barely played it down for the last 2 years at Rutgers. He's got no combine stats because he was on crutches, and I quote, "He was really good before all the injuries at Rutgers," end quote. Come on. You know, I mean, you gonna tell me this is the best player that was available on the board? You gotta be shitting me. Oh yeah, NFL comparison. It's hard to find an NFL comparison for a guy who's got 2 ACL replacements, so we'll just say the Snoopy statue at MetLife Stadium. They both have the same 40 time. However, be that as it may, we're here at this situation. So the Jets also did fire their Vice President of Player Personnel, Brian Heimerdinger, along with GM Mike Maccagnan, so 2 spots are open. And it does seem like they have their eyes on certain people to replace these. We'll talk about those guys in a second. So, really, what got Mike Maccagnan fired was horrible drafting. It's plain and simple. We said it right after the draft. We were very, very optimistic going into the draft. We had great position. We could have done a lot with the position that we had. Obviously, the trades weren't quite there. So, second guessing Maccagnan now on that particular. Whether or not we traded down out of that number 3 pick was neither here nor there. We did get a fantastic pick in Quinnen Williams, but that was an easy pick. Not trading down and taking Quinnen Williams was really the easy choice. When we needed more picks, we needed to fill some holes, and trading down, maybe he was holding out for a little bit too much. I'm not really sure. I wasn't inside the draft room, but obviously making those top picks, you know, the Quinnen Williams, the Leonard Williams, the Sam Darnold, the Jamal Adams. Those are the easy picks. GMs make their money, and it's really their bread and butter is the later round picks. And man, the later round picks were bad. We said it right after the draft, and a lot of you really were kind of down on me for saying so. But man, those last 3 picks in our draft were just horrifically bad. The players that we got, yes, they have some ability and some talent, and we're going to be all for them, but we really needed some other things at that time, and I said it right out. I know that it ruffled some feathers when I said it, but I knew that the writing was on the wall then, that, this was going to not turn out well for Maccagnan. I mean, you just had to know this. So at least with the situation the way it is now with Adam Gase, the interim GM, maybe we'll fill that hole at center. Maybe we'll make some moves. I'm not really too concerned with the idea that people are saying that Gase didn't want Le'Veon Bell signed, or at least for not as much as we signed him for. I mean, he's got him now. He's got the guaranteed money, so I really don't think that's going to be an issue going forward. He's a tremendous piece in our offense. Adam Gase is an offensive coach. I don't think that's really an issue. But both Adam Gase and Greg Williams are very high intensity kind of coaches. There's a lot of energy. They're always buzzing around. You could just see it when like that Adam Gase big bug eyes interview, and Greg Williams is always spouting off, and you just know that these kind of guys have a certain type of personality, and it didn't mesh with Mike Maccagnan. I mean, he's laid back, kind of quiet, soft-spoken kind of guy, and it's obvious that those personalities weren't meshing. In retrospect, obviously Mike Maccagnan should have been fired along with Todd Bowles, so that when we brought in Adam Gase, we bring in a GM that goes along with him, and just they kind of those pieces are together, and there's not any kind of a lingering effect. But unfortunately, that's the way the Jets do things. The Jets did it back with Mike Tannenbaum when they fired him and kept Rex Ryan, and gave Rex Ryan to John Idzik, and that turned into a complete catastrophe, internal explosion. So that didn't work out. The one good part about this is that since we just signed Adam Gase as our coach, he's brand new, hasn't coached a season yet. The guy that they do bring in as GM is going to be on the same page as him. I think that the guy that they're looking for, or the gentleman that they're looking for, are friends with Adam Gase. So I think that that won't be an issue. It'll be like they came in together. So at least we'll be back to an even keel on that particular aspect. So I really think that missing on later round picks in the draft is what caused the demise of Mike Maccagnan. I think that his vision to build the team is actually a good one. However, I think that he didn't surround Sam Darnold with the parts that he needed. I mean, he did give him Le'Veon Bell, but he didn't address hardly anything on the offensive line. We have no center. It's really just one of those things where you just know certain things need to be done, and they weren't taken care of. It. You can't drive a car without an engine. It's you can have a Ferrari, but you're just not going to get anywhere unless you have certain pieces. So the missed middle to late round picks: Christian Hackenberg, Darren Lee, Devin Smith. These types you just can't constantly miss on these middle to late round picks, and the Jets haven't done anything with later round picks. I mean, the only one that you could even say has been a slight success is Chris Herndon. He was a 4th round pick, and that's I acknowledge that, and Robbie Anderson being an undrafted free agent is also acknowledgeable, but our percentage is way down below most NFL teams as far as the middle to late round picks, and it's just unrecoverable for a GM. And so clearly there was a rift between Adam Gase and Mike Maccagnan, even though both men denied it in press, in their interviews and their press conferences. But it's obvious that there was one. In most cases, the GM usually wins, fires the coach, but in this particular case, the GM's already had 4 years and was on a teetering platform to begin with, and the coach was brand new, so the coach won the power struggle. I think that's the right decision in this case. I realize that Adam Gase is a sub 500 record guy. Everybody's trying to pick on Adam Gase, but I really think that he's an offensive guy, kind of guru, and he needs to be given a chance to get the players and the pieces that he needs to make that a success. So, especially being an excellent quarterback, kind of whisperer that he is, having the support of guys like Peyton Manning and things like that is really somebody that you have to put your support behind when you have a brand new young superstar quarterback like Sam Darnold. We have to give him everything that he needs to develop into what we hope he can be, so that we don't lose another golden opportunity. Things that showed that rift occurred or was occurring at Jets headquarters was things like the reports that Chris Johnson, the CEO of the team, was spending late nights at the office trying to monitor the situation and see the issues between Gase and Maccagnan. I mean, things like that don't leak out unless there's really something there. So that's a kind of like where there's smoke, there's fire kind of an issue. And I guess in retrospect, you could see that this was a long time coming. The Jets still did not. It's obvious they did not want to fire Mike Maccagnan. They let him spend $125 million in guaranteed money in free agency. They let him build a team. They let him make the draft picks. It's kind of like giving him enough rope to hang himself, but you're doing it with the future of our team, so that's a little dangerous. And I would have much preferred to have him relieved of his duties if this was even a possibility, than to have him do it before the draft, so that the person who remains with the team ended up making the personnel picks that he wanted. And I think that Adam Gase probably would have made a couple of decisions during the draft that would have been a little bit better. I think that The offensive lineman that we took in the third round was a good choice, but there were other offensive linemen on the board. Maybe somebody more geared towards center. Maybe Julian Love, a cornerback in the fourth round that was still available there, would have been a good pick. Even some wide receivers like Riley Ridley that were on the board when the Jets when the Jets picked. Those were all kind of opportunities, and we went with players that, like I said before, I'm not going to bag on these players. I think Trevin Wesco is going to be a good blocking tight end. I think Bless Austin was a horrible decision, just a waste of a pick. A guy who is going to come in here and be on the physically unable to perform list, and hasn't even played the last 2 years in college due to injuries. You just can't make these kind of decisions. It's just, Blake Cashman is probably going to develop into a good inside linebacker, but we needed other players at the time, and that's what I had said in my video, and that's what I had said was going to lead to getting Maccagnan in trouble, and it did. So let's take a look at the people that the Jets are trying to decide whether they need to fill this position with. So, obviously, the big name that's been out there in the press is Eagles Vice President of Player Personnel, Joe Douglas. Now, Joe Douglas has a lot of strong ties to Adam Gase. They're good friends. He was hired in 2016 by the Eagles, so he's been there for 3 years, and he helped to build the team that won Super Bowl 52. So it was, pretty good credentials. Prior to his stint with the Eagles, he was the director of college scouting for the Bears in 2015, and then before that, he was with the Ravens in multiple roles from the years 2000 all the way through 2015. So he's paid his dues. He's been in the league for a long time, and he's had some really good results. He's obviously a hot candidate right now. Fits very well with Adam Gase. He's kind of a high-intensity kind of guy, knows exactly what he wants. So he's at the top of the list of people for the Jets are looking at right now. So that would be for the GM role. So that would be a move up for Joe Douglas being a player personnel VP. Now, we also fired our own VP of player personnel, Brian Heimerdinger. So the Jets are actually looking at NFL Network draft analyst Daniel Jeremiah. Now, Daniel Jeremiah has a lot of background in the NFL. He's not just an analyst for the NFL. They're looking at him. They're obviously looking at him maybe for the GM role, but I really think that he's going to end up sliding into that VP of player personnel. Now, Daniel Jeremiah's background is in scouting. Now, he replaced Mike Mayock as an analyst for the NFL Network, and Mike Mayock went to the GM of the Oakland Raiders. So, obviously, they're turning over some pretty good talent there at the NFL Network. Now, Daniel Jeremiah is actually a close friend with Joe Douglas, and he's also friends with Adam Gase, so fits in really good there too. He was a former scout. He's a former scout for the Ravens, for the Browns, and for the Eagles. He joined the NFL Network in 2012, saying that he wanted to get out of the NFL basically because of a family lifestyle issue. He wasn't seeing his wife enough. They lived two or three blocks away from the headquarters where he was scouting, and still they never saw each other, things like that. So I don't think getting back into this position is going to help with the family issues all that much, but it might be just the right situation for him, being so close with the head coach, and just a good opportunity in New York to build a really good team. So this might be Daniel Jeremiah's opportunity to slot in and really get into that upper echelon of NFL executives. He's been offered positions before and turned them down, so we may not be able to get him, but it all depends on what's offered here and what kind of how the situation is. So we'll see if that works out for him. I think that that might actually work, where we get both Joe Douglas and Daniel Jeremiah in both of these positions as GM and VP of player personnel, and we really end up going in a very good direction here with the franchise the way it is. Also, Daniel Jeremiah broke into the league as a personal assistant with the Ravens, which is exactly the same way Joe Douglas broke into the NFL. So they have the same origins. They've chewed some of the same territory. I think that they will probably end up working very well together. And if Joe Douglas does take the GM role, he might convince Daniel Jeremiah to come into the VP of player personnel role. So I think that might work out really well together. So basically, look at it this way. The Jets are still a very much improved team. We had a very good free agent season. It may not be exactly what Adam Gase would have hoped for, but we really did end up with a really good free agent haul. We have a good team. We have some work to do. We've got to get that offensive line bulked up. I think that with Mike Maccagnan out of the way, that might actually happen now, because it's obvious that he had a blind spot on the offensive line. Mike Maccagnan did not see offensive line. We over the period of time that Mike Maccagnan was the GM, our offensive line quality decreased to a shocking level, till we ended up snapping the ball in the backfield past the quarterback, and it's just a disaster. So I think that we will finally get back on the ball as far as the offensive line is concerned, and might fix some things up here. Now, we have limited amount of things that we can do. There's limited amount of people available in free agency, limited amount of people that are available for trade. However, I think that all of those avenues will be explored now, and I think that we actually might have a real chance of doing something that permanent to affect our offensive line now that Mike Maccagnan's out of the way. Just plain and simple. Le'Veon Bell is our running back. He's got his guaranteed money. It's not going to be an issue with Adam Gase. Adam Gase recently said that he was unconcerned with Lev Bell not being in camp, which is true. I mean, Lev Bell is one of the best running backs in the league. He doesn't need to come to the voluntary camp to have a good season. He's going to be fine. He'll be there for regular camp, and he's ripped. He's in great shape. It's not like he's sitting there eating Twinkies. So he's going to be fine. There's not going to be an issue with that. I think that the new general manager, whoever it is going to come in and will be on the same page with Adam Gase and Greg Williams. I think it'll be an excellent fit. We'll get a high-intensity, strong work ethic guy. So I think that there's a lot to look forward to there. So not only are we probably going to end up fixing our hole at center and maybe some of the other holes at offensive line, but there's now an opportunity that maybe we'll go ahead and sign Morris Claiborne back at cornerback. For whatever reason, Mike Maccagnan was ignoring the fact that he's still out there and available, and we really need a cornerback since we didn't draft a guy like Julian Love in the draft this year. So maybe now that this situation has been clarified, maybe we've still got an opportunity to go back and get Morris Claiborne, which would be a really good move, a real help, and I think that's something we should focus on very quickly before we lose out on it. Also, just as a side note, we cut 2 players, and we did sign 2 players that were recently cut, both wide receiver Xavier Ubasi and left tackle Calvin Anderson, both of whom were cut by the Patriots. We'll go over them if there's any significant impact to be made with those guys. We'll talk about them in a later video. I did update the board with the cuts, but I have to put new players up there, the Obasi and Anderson cards on the board, so we'll get those up there here pretty quickly. But anyway, guys, that's the update. Sorry for the rough news today, but I think that it's a positive thing. I think that going forward we're in a better place. I think that the public is being very harsh on the timing of this for the Jets, but really, if you weren't going to do it before the draft and the last straw was the last 3 picks of the draft, then when were you going to do it? I mean, you don't have a crystal ball, so doing it now before camp opens is probably the only other time that we could have done this. So I think that it's going to work out. I think that the Jets have a very much improved team. I think we're going to have a very good season, very much like when Todd Bowles came in right away. We were at 10-6. I think the Jets are going to have a very good year. So still got stuff to look forward to, guys. Don't be so down on them. I think that we're making the right moves now. So anyway, thank you, guys. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications so that you know when all of these things are coming out. I know that my video is slightly late on this particular issue this time, but I wanted to make sure I got all of the information and do all the research and give you guys all of the pieces of the puzzle that I can without just giving some spotty information here and there without really knowing all of the details. So this is as much as the details as I could put together on the same day that Maccagnan was fired. So make sure that you like and subscribe. I really appreciate it if you guys share the videos, get the information out there. Watch for the live streams that are going to be coming up for the season this year. I hope that you all join me then. And keep your head up, Jets fans. We're gonna be fine. So, thank you guys very much, and remember, let's go Jets.